Hello? Is it working? Can you hear me? Let's see how this goes because I haven't done a live stream in a very, very long time. Very, very obnoxiously long time. So I'm sorry about that. Hi! Hello! So, if you didn't know, this live stream is actually to celebrate reaching 40,000 followers on Instagram because I said that if I reached 40,000 followers that I would do a live stream. And then you all surprised me by getting me there a lot sooner than I thought. I ended up actually getting to 40,000 last night, I think, and so this is a little late, but that's okay. It happens sometimes. I was asleep. I couldn't do a live stream, you know? Hi, Max. Hello to everyone else. Hi. Are we just going to say hi to people first? Is that how people start live streams? Who knows? Thank you for the likes. I'm that person you DM'd. Hi. Yes, I recognize your username. Hello. So I actually don't really have like a plan for this live stream because like I said, it is just to celebrate getting to 40K on Instagram. So we'll just do whatever you all want to do. If you want to just chat, do some Q&A, ask some questions, or truth or dare, I don't care. We can do whatever. It's all up to you. This is me to thank you. You've been watching my channel since I was 14 or 15. Ooh, those were some bad videos. I think about it every once in a while that like just how bad quality my videos were. I started making videos when I was like 11 because my friend and I would make silly videos, and then we also would make music videos. And so one of our music videos is still live on YouTube and you can still watch it. It's so ridiculous, but it's cute. It's cute, and that's what matters. We worked so hard on that. I'm reading some of your comments. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. Thank you. You've been watching me since I had 200 subscribers? Do you mean 200 or 200,000? Because I remember for the longest time I had 19 subscribers for years. It wasn't until I finally posted my video of me coming out to my mom that people actually found my channel. Because I had 19 subscribers for years. Just years. Hi, Chris. Hello. That was a voice crack. Oh, geez. Hello. I see you. Hi. I'm glad that my videos have helped you. That makes me feel really good. I remember, I talk about this a lot. I don't know if I've really talked about it on my channel a lot, but anytime people like interview me, one of the questions that they always ask is like, why did you decide to make a YouTube channel? Or why did you decide to start creating videos? And my answer is always the same. And it's because when I was 16 and I came out as agender, the very first thing that I did was I looked to YouTube for resources. I went to YouTube and I was like, agender YouTubers, and I didn't find any. I found 2 videos, one of which was a person who went back and forth between identifying as a trans man and identifying as agender, and he eventually came out and as a trans man. And that was, so he's a trans man and he's not agender, and I was like, well, that's not how I feel. And then the other person's video was talking about how they're not actually agender, that they do believe that they have a gender, they just don't know the word for it yet. And I was like, well, that's not how I feel either. So that's why I made my video, what is agender? And so it's nice to know that like I help people, because like the reason I made that video was because I didn't have a sense of community up until that point. And then after I made that video, all of the people that are commenting, I'm agender too. I was like, no, I have that community that I needed when I was younger. You know, that whole be the person you needed when you were younger. I love that. And Chase Ross was talking about that yesterday because I was watching his You Now yesterday night. And that's something that he talked about, was like to be the person you needed when you were younger. So I have a question for you all. Which of my videos is your favorite video? You just installed this because of a notification on YouTube. Nice. Hello. It's nice to see you. It's been a long time. It's been a whole year since I've done a YouNow broadcast, actually. I was looking back on my past broadcasts, and they were from back before I started dating Xander, I think, even. I'm not sure. I actually have no idea if my last broadcast was before or after I started dating Xander. So it's been a while. It has been a long time. Trick question. There can't be a favorite. How could you make us choose? That's so funny. Well, every video has its different good qualities and its different bad qualities. I will say that. It's just trans things. Oh, that's such an awkward video. So I don't know if any of you all know this, but I don't have scripts for any of my videos whatsoever. I mean, it's kind of obvious with how like awkward they are. But I don't script any of my videos. And so the sketch videos are really awkward because I don't plan out anything that I'm gonna say before. So when it's the scenes where it's someone talking to another person, it doesn't really make sense because I never really planned out a conversation. It's so awkward. But thank you. I'm glad that you liked that video. You liked my video of my speech, my graduation speech. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I was in a bilingual program for high school, and I graduated the top of my program, so that's why I gave a speech at the end of the year, was because I was like the valedictorian of the program, if that makes sense. So I actually had a speech prepared, and the senior teacher, like, sponsor person was a teacher at the school that I had known since I was a freshman. I had her when I was a freshman and when I was a junior, and she was the sponsor of the GSA at our school, which I was the president of. So I was very, very, very close friends with her all 4 years, and I still have her phone number, and we're friends on Facebook. And she was an English teacher, and she was helping me write the speech. Well, I was writing it myself, and she was reading over it and going, no, this is not good. And so I gave her a copy of my speech the day before the graduation, the day before I was supposed to give the speech. And she said, it just doesn't feel like you. And she said, I don't want to say it, but I feel like you need to rewrite it. And so I had actually, the speech in that video, I wrote less than 24 hours before I gave it. And so I'm pretty proud of that speech. But yeah, the speech before that I had originally planned was like so bad. It was just not good at all. So the fact that I wrote that speech in the day before I was supposed to give it, I'd like to say it's impressive. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I'd like to say it's impressive. Thank you for saying that the speech was good. I appreciate that a lot. How you've been doing recently, as I've not been with your videos. I find this kind of funny that you asked that, because like half of my comments are, I haven't watched your videos in a really long time and this is what you're up to now. It's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of people, because obviously like 2 years ago I got a lot more views than I do now, so it's funny that a lot of the comments are like, I haven't watched you in years and this is what you're doing now? This is what your life is up to? And I'm like, yeah. Yep. I love your hat. What's on the front? This is actually the hat from the Love Wins box that I had like made the videos about, the watch this if you like gay stuff video where I look like a dad if I wear it the other way. It says Love Wins on the other side. But this was in the box that you could have won, or well, bought for Pride season. It is my gay dad hat. It is. It's very gay. It's super gay. I like it though. It's nice. This is like the first hat that I've ever worn that wasn't a beanie. But I feel like I wear it awkwardly. I don't know. I'm weird about hats. What new ideas have you come up with for videos in the future? I'm going to make the like silly sarcastic Q&A video, which this is just one little video that I'm doing, but then I'm also, Xander and I are going to do the sex ed video for queer people, the LGBTQ sex ed video. I think I might do like a little bit of a series with that, just because there's a lot to like talk about. You can't really jam pack it into one video if you want to keep that video under 10 minutes long. So we might do some other videos that are LGBTQ sex ed related. I have other videos. I have like a giant list of videos, but I can't really remember right now. How was the Babadook movie? Listen, I don't really get scared from like horror movies, and Xander gets like terrified. Xander is so terrified of horror movies. And so it was really funny because I'm laughing through the whole movie because it was just ridiculous. It was like Xander actually was so scared from the movie that he had to like dive deep into the internet and like research the movie and like conspiracy theories and like all this different junk. Like he got so into it right after we watched it. He was like, I have to know everything about it. And he's like searching these things, right? And he found out that it's supposed to be like a psychological thriller. And so in the movie, it doesn't really ever actually like show you any of the scary stuff, if that makes sense. So like how in some movies it like shows the monster. This movie doesn't really do that. And so Xander was like, oh my gosh, it's like a psychological horror, like thriller, because it's like teasing you into what you think that it's going to be. And you're more scared of like what your thoughts are than like what it actually is. And like it's your brain processing it to, and I'm like, it's not that deep. Listen, this movie's ridiculous. This movie was just, I just can't stop laughing over it because it was so ridiculous. Okay, I have a question. How in the world, how did the Babadook become the queer icon? Like, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong. But like, where did that come from? Where did that start? Because I'm like, heck yeah, he is. But then I don't know why that started. I don't know where that came from. Why is the Babadook the queer icon? Like, where did that start? Supposedly it was accidentally listed under LGBT on Netflix. That's awesome. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So someone asked... Oh, where'd it go? I saw it a moment ago. Are you going to dye your hair again? I'm actually not sure. I'm kind of entering the adult world, and usually employers don't let you dye your hair, so that's a thing that happens. I have my hair dyed black, but I don't know if I do black hair again because I've done it so many times. So I started dyeing my hair black when I was like 13, so I've always been that emo kid inside. Please collab with Chase Ross. Listen, I have talked to Chase about collabing because of the what's that thing that's in Philadelphia? The trans health conference that's like in September-ish. So I think that he's going to it, and I might try and go to it. But fun fact, I live straight, like pretty much straight south from where he is. So it's a drive, but it's not nearly as far as I thought it would be. Let's see, what else? Can I ask you a question? Do tattoos hurt? It's funny that you say that because yesterday when I was watching Chase Frost's You Now, he was talking about how badly his thigh piece hurt. And I was like, mine didn't hurt that much, and I was sitting under that needle for 5 hours straight. It wasn't that bad. Thank you, I appreciate that a lot. But he kept saying that his really hurt and that it was like outrageously painful. And I was like, Wow, thank you, friend. I appreciate that a lot. And I will make sure that I message you back after this is over. But my thigh piece didn't hurt that much. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like maybe like a constant 5. But you know what did hurt was the rib cage. That one hurt so badly. So I described my first tattoo, this one, as like a sharpened pencil drawing over your skin. So it doesn't feel great, but it doesn't hurt. Like, have you ever taken like a sharpened pencil and just kind of like scratch your skin? Like, it doesn't really hurt. But the ribcage one, which was my second tattoo, the one that I got with Xander, oh buddy, did that freaking hurt. I described that one as someone taking a pair of surgical scissors and slicing me open. That's how bad it hurt. It was so bad. It was so painful. The good news is it only lasts 45 minutes though. So it was a 9. It was an 8 or a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10 for 45 minutes. So it was bad. You got that from a free spin? Holy crap. To be honest, I don't really know much about you now. I only just remember what I watched yesterday. Yeah, don't get a big rib cage tattoo. Like, you can get something small like I did if you can tolerate it. But I can't imagine like getting like a big rib cage piece and having to sit under that pain for like longer than the 45 minutes. Because that was so bad. Let's see. What do you think of, whoa, I just missed the question. It was like, what do you think of people, found it again. What do you think of people thinking that being agender is not real? Well, okay, so I always get like really internally frustrated when people make comments about non-binary identities not being real, obviously because I'm non-binary, but like another layer on top of that is just for the fact of like, why do people care so much? Why do you feel so enticed to tell me that I'm wrong and that my identity doesn't exist? Like, why? What has compelled you so much to want to like it's just my life, just let me live. Like, even if like the non-binary identities weren't real, if I say that I'm non-binary, why would someone feel so compelled to tell me that I'm wrong? Like, in a world if they didn't exist, why would you care so much? I don't understand, because like, that's my experiences. Like, these are my experiences. No one else can tell me how I've experienced life. Like, why do you feel the need to tell me that I'm wrong in something that you don't experience? I don't understand why people go to such great lengths and great like effort to tell someone else that their experiences aren't real, aren't valid, don't exist. That just baffles me so much. Why would, exactly, no one can tell you how you feel anyway, completely. No one can tell you how you've experienced life because they haven't experienced your life. Listen, it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. People somehow think non-binary genders infringe on them. I know! It's like they're so insulted at the fact that I'm non-binary. Like, why does it offend you so much that I'm non-binary? Why does that bother you so much? People are ridiculous. Listen, people are just ridiculous. Do you watch Orange is the New Black? I watched the first season and I watched some of the second season, and then I had like 4 AP classes in high school, and so I got busy and never got to really get back into like fandom culture, I guess you could say, like watching TV shows and, you know, like being excited about like new releases and stuff like that. I kind of like got out of that just because I was so busy. And like then I went to college and I was busy. But I will say that while I was in college, I was actually less busy than in high school. And so I ended up watching the entirety of Steven Universe while I was in college. So that's the one thing that I'm really excited for. I remember when you told me about your AP classes, it sounded stressful. It was, fam. It was so bad. Let me tell you, when I was a junior, I took 3 AP classes. Wait, yes. And then when I was a senior, I took 4 out of 7. I only took 7 classes total, and I got 4 of them were AP. That's so many. Where are the crystal gems? Yes! Xander learned how to play it on the ukulele, and it was so cute when he was playing it for me because I have a ukulele, and I'm not very good. I think I know one song, like, kinda. And Xander had the smallest ukulele, and I think I had the second smallest, and so he kind of, like, tossed his ukulele aside and, like, low-key stole mine. Because he was so excited about a new ukulele with new strings that I can play. And I was like, yeah. Alrighty, let's see. Are you gay? I mean, listen. How do you feel about packing / what's a good packer? I am not really the best person to ask this question because I have never packed a day in my life. I don't typically feel bottom dysphoria, but even when I do, it's not to the point of like feeling as if I need to do something about it. So it's really just kind of like, I guess my bottom dysphoria so far has really just been more of like curiosity of like wanting to know what it would feel like to have those parts. But I don't think I've ever really felt so dysphoric to the point where I wanted to pack. I mean, I've definitely, like, felt bottom dysphoria and, like, wanted to, like, have those parts. But I've not ever felt like I need to go buy a packer and do this or, like... Plus, I wear a lot of leggings, so I don't really feel like a bulge would stay in place because it's leggings. I told Xander that when I start to build more muscle and like around my legs and my thighs and stuff from tea, that I'm gonna look so weird in my leggings because my leggings fit my body now as like the slim, like not very muscular body that I have now. And so I'm like, those leggings are gonna look like tight, like the thigh tights, whatever, I can't remember what they're called, but like the really, really thin things that even cover your little pantyhose. Yeah, from when we were little. Jeez. Ooh. Was it hard to come out to your family? Yes. In fact, I came out to my mom in a video that's on my channel, but the only reason I did that was because after I posted the What is Agender video, everyone's comments, like, okay, so a portion of the comments were, that's not real, blah, blah, blah. A portion of the comments were, oh my gosh, I'm agender too. And then the next portion of the comments were, I'm agender too, how did you come out to your parents, how did they react? And I was like, well, I haven't come out to my parents yet, so, I don't know. And so a lot of people were commenting and they were like, how did your parents react when you came out? And I was like, I haven't done that yet. So it was actually from the support of you all that made me decide to come out to my mom. And she's been really supportive. And yeah, she's like my best friend. I remember when I first came out, it wasn't necessarily that it was like a negative experience with her at all. It was more so like, so when I came out to my mom, it wasn't that it was like negative. The only like bad part was the fact that like she kept using my birth name and my birth pronouns, just because she was getting used to saying Chandler and using they, them. And it took her about a year to like start really like picking up speed on that. So I wouldn't say that anything about my coming out experience was bad, because that's always like, that's how I envisioned it, was like, something that I know for myself personally is like, the same way that there are people who are used to calling me my birth name, like people that I've known a long time, you know, is I'm used to hearing my birth name from them. Like, I'm used to them calling me that. And so like in my head, my mom using my birth name was never really something that ever really shocked me, because I've been called that for, you know, almost 20 years. So like it wasn't something like, her immediately changing to Chandler wasn't something I expected anyway from like anyone. And so it was nice. It was a good coming out experience. You went away to college and came back and they were getting your pronouns right? That's awesome. I only went to college so far for a semester, so I don't know how that would have gone. I get this question a lot. Tips on coming out as agender. So the very first thing that I always say to people when they ask me like, how do I come out? My very first thing that I always say, always say is make sure that you're safe. If it would risk your safety, then maybe it's better to wait. Because I know, like, especially, I feel very deeply about this because the first few times that I came out, when I came out as bisexual when I was 12, like when I came out with my sexual orientation when I was younger, it was never on my terms. It was always something happened. Like, I was telling a friend, I remember the very first time that I came out was when I was 12 and with bisexual, and I was emailing my friend that I was bisexual, and I copied the email and I pasted it in an email to myself to send it to myself as like a reference so that I would be able to keep it. And then my sister went on the computer after me, and she was trying to copy a picture, and put it into a Word document, and she accidentally didn't copy the picture, and so she ended up pasting my email. And so I was outed because she showed the email to my parents, and it wasn't just about me being bisexual, so it wasn't like she was intentionally outing me. It was just like a small part of the email. But so like a lot of the times when I came out to my parents, it wasn't on my terms, like on my own terms, like I was outed in some way, shape, or form. And so I do feel very strongly about like, make sure it's the right time for you to come out, make sure that you feel comfortable, make sure that you will be safe, and just know that you don't need the acceptance of your parents. I know that the very first collab I ever did with Ash Hardell over on their channel was about YouTubers come out to their parents, and in it, Miles McKenna is actually featured in it before he came out as trans. And he talks about like coming out as gay to his parents, and he says, you don't need the acceptance from your parents. I'm only going to be around this negativity for a fraction of the time that I'll be alive. And that really resonated with me because both of us were the two people in the video that featured YouTubers. Both of us were the two people that had some negative experiences coming out. So like his experience was negative with both of his parents, and mine was only negative with my dad. And so we both kind of shared some of those experiences. So that really resonated with me. Just make sure that you're safe and that it's right for you. And honestly, if they don't accept you, or something bad happens, if crap hits the fan, like, just know that you are still valid, and no one can take that away from you, no matter what they say. You're still valid, and there will always be community here for you and people who support you. For graduation, did you have to wear gendered gowns? I did. A lot of the schools have, in my county, or at least the county that I went to, a lot of them have gendered gowns and a lot of them don't. And my school just happened to be one that does. But the cool thing about my school, though, was they were letting the trans kids wear the gender gown for the gender that they are, not the one they were assigned at birth. But I didn't feel the need to wear a blue because ours were the girls wear white and the guys wear blue. And so I didn't feel the need to like ask if I could wear a different colored one, because I kind of liked the way the white one looked. And I actually was going to wear a white underdress. If I wore the blue one, the navy blue for the guys, then I would have to also wear like pants, like very dressy pants and very dressy like shoes marketed towards men. And I didn't want to have to buy a whole bunch of pieces of clothing. I just wanted to have to buy a shirt or a dress. And so I just wore the girls one. It was fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot, Rachel. Thank you. Oh my gosh, we're number 1 on LGBT. I think that's just because Steph stopped hers. It's funny because I was getting ready to plan this, and then I saw that Steph was live, and I was like, I should go watch hers. But then I was like, but I have to do one myself. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy Pride Month to you too. We have the same last name. I definitely would say talk to the people at your school. Sorry, I'm reading your thing that says I'm hoping to get them to let me wear the boys, which is red. Make sure that you talk to the people in charge, like your principal, very, very soon in the school year. Because like at my school and at a lot of other schools, they were letting them wear the right colors that they identify with. Is this on slightly wrong? I can't tell. Anyway, but they did let them wear the colors for the gender that they identify with no questions asked. It was really cool. Xander got to wear the blue one when he was a senior. He's actually a year older than me, so he was kind of the first trans person at our school to actually like transition during the school year and while he was in school. And so it exposed our like school to, or at least the administration, to transgender kids so that they could be more accepting of future trans kids. So that's awesome. So he got to wear the right one. You were watching Steps? That's awesome. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I will make sure that I watch one soon. Especially since like I haven't been on You Now in a very, very, very long time. Did you know Justin Blake? Or do you know Justin Blake? He's transgender. I do. We follow each other on Instagram. We DM'd each other a few times. He's very sweet. It's funny because he's like very popular on Musical.ly, which I've never been on that app ever before. And he has a lot of Instagram followers. And so when I followed him, I think I sent him a DM asking him something about his transition. I can't really remember right now. Like asking him how long he's been on T or something like that. I can't remember. And he replied saying that like I inspired him. And I was like, I didn't even think you would know who I am. And it was very sweet. So it's very nice. What's your favorite color? Teal. Teal is my favorite color. Shout out please for my friend Zachary. Hello, Zachary. How are you doing? I feel bad because all I said was notice me. That's okay. It's a great way to start a conversation. How is your tea treatment going? Well, I have very bad shot anxiety because I didn't at first. So I was doing my shots and it was great, you know, everything's wonderful. And then the third shot that I did myself, so my fourth shot, I hit something and my leg started convulsing and bleeding and I started shaking and freaking out and crying and having a full-blown panic attack. And I was like, well, can't do that anymore. So I have like really bad needle phobia now because I messed up on my shot, and then I have not had a good experience with my shots since, and I have to have other people do them. So I've gone to Planned Parenthood quite a few times to have them do my shot. I had Xander do my shot once, and so I have skipped some shots, which isn't good. My hormones have not been grateful. My hormones have been very upset with me for skipping shots because of my anxiety. And so I actually do have a shot tomorrow. I'm going to Planned Parenthood to get my shot done, so wish me luck with my horrible needle phobia. I never had needle phobia when I was younger. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the bars. Thank you so much. But I never had needle phobia ever when I was younger. I've had blood taken all the time. I mean, I have 3 tattoos. Never had, like, even with shots and stuff, like, I never had a problem with getting shots ever before in my life. And then, or with, like, getting blood drawn. My thing was always, I just don't want to see it. I'm fine. Like, you can do it. I don't care. But, of course, the one time, like, the time where I need to consistently do shots is when I start to develop the phobia. Xander's the same way, though. Like, he never had phobias of needles or anything when he was younger. And then, like, he started developing, like, shot anxiety after he went on testosterone. And then, yeah, so we both have really bad shot anxiety now. So, hi, Sarah! Hi! I promise I'll do your artwork for you soon. Sorry if this has been asked. I just arrived. What's your dose and how many months in are you? Well, I haven't been asked that yet. So you're good. I actually don't know if, like, to be honest, I don't know if that's like something I'm supposed to disclose. But honestly, I don't really care because I value the sake of education. So they started me on a pretty low dosage, and I'm still on that dosage. I'm 0.25 milliliters of the 200 milligrams consistency, what's it called? Concentration. Yeah. And my shots are weekly. And I am almost 3 months. So the first month, I started March 23rd. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. You rock. So, was it difficult to get tea as a non-binary trans person? Well, I went through Planned Parenthood, and they do informed consent. So pretty much they just had to tell me, these are all the things that will happen once you start testosterone, and these are all the changes that will happen. These are all the side effects and stuff. This is what will happen to your body. And they just tell you everything that will happen, and you say if you want to do it or not. So it's not very hard, but you do have to be at least 18 or 17 with parent permission. Thank you for the bars. I appreciate it. This cute little picture for you. Some Planned Parenthoods do. They recently started offering hormones for transgender people in September of last year, I think. So it hasn't been that long. But they do offer that. A lot of them do. My sister, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if she said that there were no Planned Parenthoods around her, or if the Planned Parenthoods that were around her didn't offer it yet. Didn't offer hormones yet. I can't remember. So there are some Planned Parenthoods that don't offer it yet, I think. I don't know. I'm sorry. All I know is the one that's near me does offer it. Do you know the youngest people can go on hormones? I don't know the absolute youngest. I do know that I've known some trans people that have gone on puberty blockers. Although the first trans person that comes to mind that went on puberty blockers said that it didn't really help much because she had already started going through puberty when she started the blockers, so it didn't really do much for her. I do know that with parental, like, the parental stamp, confirmation, if you will, that you can start pretty young. I wouldn't say, like, super young. I would definitely say at least teenage age, because Xander started when he was a teenager, when he was in high school. I'm pretty sure he started when he was, like, 16. So far, the youngest that I know of someone who started testosterone was 16, I think. I'm not sure. Thank you so much for the bars. I don't actually know if your username is your name. So thank you so much. And thank you for the likes. I don't know the youngest that you can start testosterone. From experience of people that I've met, the youngest that I've witnessed of someone on testosterone was 16. You and your bae should do a singing video. I've tried to talk to him about it because he actually wanted to make a YouTube channel for a while. Well, for a very short while, about like doing music and stuff. And so I told him that we could do some music on my channel if he wanted, since it's like easier to post on a channel that's already like up and running, I guess you could say. Like, it's very hard to build a channel. I would know because, like I said, 19 subscribers for like 5 years. But we might do some music eventually. Wouldn't that be cool? He can play the guitar a little, the ukulele a little, and he can sing a little, and I can sing a little, so maybe we will. Thanks for sharing that info about the gender fluid film. Yes! I'm very excited about it too, because the guy who I've kept in contact with about it, he messaged me the first time a few months ago, and we had like a whole Skype call about it, and it was really cool. And we recently started emailing again, and they're having a lot of like sponsors and like organizations that are endorsing them, which is really cool. Like, I can't remember all of the ones that already have, but I know that I think P-Flag already has endorsed them, or at least they're working with P-Flag. They're also working with the Trevor Project, so that's really cool. I love your hat. Thanks. I got it from Studio 71 in a box that was available from my video about gay stuff. All of my videos are about gay stuff. From the watch this if you like gay stuff. You're going to your first Pride on Saturday. I've actually never been to Pride before. I'm excited. I think this year I'm gonna go. How do you tell your parents? I would say you could always tell them that you're going to go hang out with your friends, because it's a lot easier to say that you're going to go spend some time with your friends if you're not out to your parents yet, at least. But I've never been to a Pride before. I think this year will be my first year going, if I go. I'm pretty sure I'll go. I was invited to DC Pride, but I said no because I have a very, very, very big fear of large, crowded areas with limited/minimal security, like outdoor areas. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I'll go, sorry. But there's a Pride a lot closer to me that's in like September. It's ridiculous. So I might go to that. You told your parents you were going to Toronto to film a video and then filmed a free hugs video at Pride. Nice. Nice. So does Chase. He hardly ever goes to Pride. Yeah. Chase and I have a lot of the same anxieties. I had the opportunity to go to Pride last September in North Carolina when I was in college, but I was going to be busy that weekend doing something entirely different, and I was like, awesome, I don't get to go. Would have been my first Pride, and I would have gone with a bunch of lovely queer college kids, but I didn't get to go, but that's okay. You and Chase Ross are my favorite YouTubers. Hey! I adore Chase Ross so much. Xander adores Chase Ross too. How long do you usually wait before telling someone new that you're non-binary? That depends. Because in certain situations, I am not very vocal about being non-binary, just for like safety purposes or like medical purposes. Like, for example, I'm the type of person that when I go to the doctor, like on my gender marker and everything, it says female. And so I don't feel the need to tell, like, for example, if I go to like the Minute Clinic or something, I don't feel the need to tell them, oh, I'm non-binary, because I'm like, I'm just here for a moment to like get a checkup or whatever, and then I'll move along. But like if it's something like, for example, my first job, the person who was interviewing me, who was the manager of the store, asked me what my pronouns were. And so that was like, I'm going to be out as non-binary. So I think it just depends on context. I would say if it were someone around my age, I'd probably tell them pretty immediately, just because I'm also like, I don't want them to get used to calling me the wrong pronouns. So like, I want to make my pronouns known pretty early on in the relationship, friendship, whatever it is, just because I don't want them to get too comfy calling me the wrong pronouns, if that makes sense. As someone in a similar position, what made you certain it was the right time to start tea in comparison to previous times considering it? That is an excellent question, because like I said, I've gone back and forth from wanting to start tea since I was 14. So it's been years, like 5 years, since I've wanted to start testosterone. The reason that this time was the time was because, not to get like all down on you all, but when I was at that job that I had, I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved everyone there. But I was in a position where customers were constantly coming up to me. And so my current thing now, or I mean like in terms of appearance, earlier this year, before I started tea, was that people would either read me as like a young boy or an older girl. So people were reading me as like a 14, 15-year-old boy or like a 17-year-old girl. I don't know, whatever age they thought I was. But when they saw me as older, they read me as a girl. And so if I'm working at this place, obviously I have to be older because they don't employ 12-year-olds, you know? And so everyone was referring to me as a girl, and it made me very, very, very uncomfortable. Because like I explained in my one video, it was so polarized. Thank you so much for the bars. It was so polarized. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone was calling me she, her, and no one was calling me he, him. And like, I know that it's very rare for people to use they, them when talking about, like, how do I explain this? It's passing as non-binary isn't a thing. And so people were automatically gendering me as he or she. And so I wanted it to be more balanced. I wanted to be more androgynous. And the reason that this time was the time was because, I went through a dark time because of that. And I remember for about a week straight, I was having a mental breakdown 5 times a day for like a week. Happy Pride Month to you too. But I was having a hard time. I'm not going to go into details about it. I'm okay. Everything's okay. But it was not fun mentally. And so I broke down to Xander, and I told him I broke down to Xander, but I also broke down to the mentor at the LGBTQ youth group that we go to, and said, like, I'm so incredibly unhappy, and they essentially talked to me and they were like, if this is something that would make you happier and if this is something that would ensure your mental health, then you're allowed to go towards that. You're allowed to do that for yourself. You're allowed to ensure your mental health. And I think it was the first time anyone ever actually encouraged me to like do something that would help me, you know? I mean, aside from Xander, obviously Xander encourages me to be my best self, you know, but like it was the first time that an adult, so like someone who wasn't like my age friend or whatever, but it was someone who was an adult who was actually giving me advice and was saying, hey, you're allowed to do this for yourself. You're allowed to do what you need to do to be happy and to feel comfortable in this body that you are given. And so I decided to start testosterone, and it has been a great improvement on my mental health, aside from the shot anxiety. But I would, like, even then, immediately after a shot, I feel instantaneously better. Like, mentally, I feel happier. And it's funny because a lot of people have even mentioned in, like, when I post pictures on Instagram or when they see my videos, and they're always like, you look so much happier, you look, like, so happy, and you look so good, and I'm like, thanks, I am. Thank you so much for the bars, I appreciate it, you rock. Does tea affect you emotionally? Yes. But I would say more so, so it makes me feel better, it makes me feel happier, but the problem with my emotions comes when I don't take it. So like how I said I have like the shot anxiety, it has resulted in me like missing shots before. And let me tell you, it's not fun. If you start testosterone, if you start hormones, make sure that you do them consistently. Don't do what I did. Don't skip a shot. Because it's okay. So people used to prescribe testosterone bi-weekly. So you take a shot every other week. They don't really do that anymore because of the burnout. And what the burnout is what I'm about to let y'all know. This is why you take it consistently, how they tell you to take it, and why they typically prescribe it now as weekly. Because, let me fix this, sorry. Because when I missed a shot, it was an immediate plummet downhill. Like, I mean, my depression would skyrocket when I would miss a shot because I would just feel so bad. But a lot of that for me personally also stems from the fact that like a lot of my depression comes from the fact that I feel like I can't do something, or I feel like I can't do anything and I'm not good enough and like I can't handle things. And so the fact that it's literally a shot that I can't do, like my hormones, so the situation makes me feel bad, and then my hormones being inconsistent just makes it so much worse. And so like, be good to yourself if you ever go on hormones. Be good to yourself. Be consistent. Don't do what I did. Can't they give them to you orally? So they don't do testosterone in pill form because it's really bad for your liver. And I mean like really bad. Like they don't do that. Planned Parenthood only prescribes testosterone in shot form. So like intramuscularly or subcutaneous, which is through your fat, or through the gel. And the gel is super expensive and super inconsistent. And so I was like, I'd rather do the shots. Xander did the gel for a while because of his shot anxiety, and it was a dark time. It was really bad because it's a gel, so it's like a liquid. So you can't, there's no way to ensure that you will get the exact same amount every single time, every single day, because you have to apply it daily. Like with a shot, like it's not so much of a difference if you get like a teeny tiny little bit less than maybe the week before because of the way it disperses in your body. So like that difference is a lot less noticeable than like if you're getting an extremely different amount every single day. And like, so Xander would have extreme mood swings. I mean, like from being super happy to super angry and furious at everything and like huge attitude Like, watching that, I was like, I don't want to go on the gel because it's $600 a bottle and I ain't got that kind of money. And then it's also something that you have to do every single day. And also, you can't like touch people because you have this stuff that's transferable, and it's just super inconsistent. And I was like, I'm not gonna even consider that route. So I think that definitely just make sure that you do what's right for you. Take the path that's best for you. Where is your bae? He's at work. Xander is at work. Xander has a part-time job, and then he also works with this guy who makes pickles. So he's doing one of those two things. He has them both today. I don't know when the pickle thing ends. You're the one who made the Chandler starter pack on Instagram. Let me tell you, the AAA battery made me laugh so hard. It took me a moment to figure it out, but I laughed really hard. And Xander even asked and said, what's the battery thing? I don't get it. And I said, it's AAA because Aero Ace Agent, you get it? Haha. And even Xander was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. So thank you. I liked that. I thought it was really, really funny. Do you feel bad when someone uses he, she? He/she. Yes. The analogy that I always use for this is the sweater analogy. And I don't know if you know this, but Lainey Bot on YouTube, Lainey, actually referenced my sweater analogy in one of their videos. But anyway, so my sweater analogy is to treat pronouns like they're sweaters. So, for example, they, them pronouns is like my comfy, soft, warm sweater, fresh out of the wash, fresh out of the dryer, like nice, clean, soft, smooth, perfect size, perfect level of fluff and comfort. It's just like wearing a cloud, you know, it's so great. And then, for example, like she, her pronouns for me are very like in sweater form analogy are like itchy, too small, uncomfortable, awkward. And then like he, him pronouns in a sweater for me is like, for example, like a size too big. Like it's not horrible, but it's still not right or comfortable. So like I just describe it as that is just pronouns like for everyone will feel different, you know? And I actually had a friend, Demands One on YouTube, who once made a video about pronouns and how there are plenty of people who use pronouns that are different from what a lot of people under the same gender umbrella as them use. So like, for example, if the majority of non-binary people use they, them pronouns, but then there's a non-binary person who uses she, her pronouns, that's not to say that that person's not non-binary. So like pronouns, it's just like language, the same way that labels can feel different and in terms of comfort as pronouns can feel different in terms of comfort. And that doesn't invalidate your gender or like change your gender or anything like that, that it's all about your comfort and how it feels for you. And so like for me, even though they, them pronouns are my pronouns, and those are what feel the most comfortable, that she, her, and he, him can still feel different. Like, for me personally, he, him feels better than she, her because I don't like being referred to as my gender assigned at birth. But like, that can be different for a whole bunch of other people. And it says, it popped up a little notification. It said that there are people watching me on YouTube. I'm not like on YouTube, so I can't see your comments. So you need to click on over and switch on over to you now so that I can read what you're saying and so that I can include you and answer your questions and read your comments. And come on over to the dark side of you now. I can take tea when you're... Oh, so you can take tea in a year, but you want to know the pros and the cons? So my experiences so far, pros. Mood boost, I feel a lot better on tea. Cons, acne. I pick at myself too much, so like acne is really bad for me. Pros, I get excited at the little changes. I feel better about like a lot of the little changes. So like how I said beforehand, getting facial hair or something wasn't like a necessity for me. It's still not. I don't feel like I need facial hair, but it's like I feel cool when I get to see it grow in. It's just, I don't know. And so I would say that. But then also my biggest thing that I wanted was my voice to be deeper. But what I have noticed, and what a lot of people have told me who are on testosterone, is that that I'm also experiencing right now is like my voice feels scratchy. It hurts. It's like itchy. I wouldn't say it's like really painful or anything, but like there have been times where it feels like I'm straining my voice just to try and get words out, like that my voice feels like it's straining. And Xander told me that for him that lasted like a month and a half. So when my voice gets a little bit deeper, I'm sure that it won't really do that anymore, because like Xander says, it doesn't happen to him anymore. And then like other people who are on testosterone who I've talked to said that that's also something that they experience for like a little while. It's just that like their voice feels like itchy and like that they're straining their voice. And so that's what I feel right now. That's a con, but it does go away after just a short period of time. So it's not something to say, hey, you don't do testosterone because your voice will hurt. No, it's nothing like that. Goodbye, friend. I see that you say goodbye because I need to leave. Goodbye, Max. I'm pansexual but have no idea how to tell my friends' family, as they may think I'm too young to know. Any tips? So my first thing is, depending on your relationship with this person and if you're allowed to be a little bit of a smartass with them, ask them like, so you're too young to know your sexual orientation unless it's heterosexual. So you're too young to know that you're heterosexual then. To other people who are heterosexual, thank you for the bars. I really appreciate it. Destiny, thank you so much. But yeah, if you have a little bit of freedom to be a little bit of a smart aleck, then ask them if they are, when they found out they were straight. But I would say just like emphasize the fact that this is who you are and it makes you happy and you feel like you're being true to yourself now that you know this about yourself, and you're just piecing together the pieces of the puzzle. You know, we're all just figuring ourselves out and piecing together more puzzle pieces to the puzzle. So you're allowed to figure yourself out, you know? So just make sure that you emphasize the fact that this is who you are and that makes you happy to be yourself. And yes, I see this one comment that says, they say that you're too young to know, but then they say you should have known when you were younger. I know! It's like so messed up. They're like, you're too young to know who you are. And then when you come out, they're like, well, obviously you're not, that's not who you are because you didn't know when you were younger. And like, I'm one of those people that like, I don't have the same narrative as like, for example, Xander, because Xander, he knew when he was really young that something felt not entirely cis. Just didn't have the language for it. But like, looking back on it now, there were like some things that I did that were like, yeah, you were definitely non-binary. But like that was never something that I felt, you know? I was very comfortable with being like a tomboy. Thank you for the bars. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Yikes. Yikes. I like that a lot. But I've talked to a lot of people who are trans and they didn't know when they were younger. And people are like, well, you didn't know when you were younger, so you're not valid. But then at the same time, there are people who are younger who come out when they're younger and they're like, no, you're too young to know. And it's like, Also, whoop, that was my foot, sorry. So I'm sitting crisscross applesauce. It's 3:06 here now, and I have a appointment that I have to go to at 4, so I won't be on too much longer. But I'm still gonna be on for just a little bit. Just a little longer. It's okay. Or they say, well, you don't look like you're a part of the community. I know! It's so frustrating. So, like, I have a friend who, he's a trans guy, and he once made a comment to me about how he doesn't feel like how do I explain this? Based off of his appearance, people don't read him as queer. And, like, I hate, like, the idea of, like, stereotypes and stuff, but, like, he said that one of the most empowering things for him was when he dyed his hair blue, because it made him feel like people were finally seeing, or finally acknowledging his queerness, if that makes any sense. And so, like, I totally get it, because for some reason there's, like, this like, concept that all queer people look the exact same, and it's like, the idea of what a queer person looks like is, like, dyed colored hair, skinny, typically, like, short. I don't know. Those are the typical stereotypes that people that I've talked to so far think about when they think of queer people. And it's like, not everyone fits that stereotype. Hello. And so he felt very, like, disconnected from his queer identity because people weren't acknowledging his queerness because of the way that he looked. And so I get it, because people are like, you don't look LGBTQ, and it's like, I am LGBTQ, therefore I look LGBTQ. There's no specific way to look when you're LGBTQ. There's no one way to be when you're LGBT. Like, I don't understand people. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. How you inspired me to come out to my stepmom and dad, and it went really well. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that it went well. I have, like, this one vein that just keeps popping out the entire live stream. It's been there. It's been a part of the live stream. Would you still like doing makeup? Yes, I do still wear makeup, actually. I haven't worn a full face in a while, just because, like, with testosterone, my skin is getting more oily, and like I said, I'm not fond of pimples, so I've been, like, cleaning my face a lot more, cleaning my skin, and I haven't been wearing as much makeup just because I know that it makes my skin really oily, but I do still wear a bit of concealer, and I've also worn a little bit of lipstick and some mascara, and also done my eyebrows a bit, because I can get away with that without my skin getting oily. Would you ever have a beard? I'm not sure. I think it depends on how it grows in, because if it feels patchy, which it definitely will the first few times, you know, because it's not like first time you grow a beard and it's like full on, full face, perfect beard. That'd be cool though. But with how, like, my body is absorbing the testosterone, I'm growing hair, like, I wouldn't say slowly. It's just more thin, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, the quality of the hair is not the coarse hair that a lot of people on testosterone get. So, like, Xander, for example, his hair on his face was very, very coarse. And so I'm not growing that yet. And so I feel like it would all be, like, I don't know. It wouldn't be the type of beard that I would want. But if it grew in right, I might have a little bit of scruff. I don't know. Grew in the right way to make me feel comfortable, I should say. You are non-binary and AMAB and get really dysphoric about any facial hair growth at all. I understand, because I do feel like, for myself, kind of weird about some hair growth. Like, for example, like my underarm hair, I've noticed is growing a little bit more, and like I don't know why it feels uncomfortable for me to have that. So that feels a little weird. But I understand, because like I get some dysphoria also from like hair growth. So I would just say to remind yourself that all of these characteristics about your body that people gender aren't inherently gendered. So like, there are plenty of people who are not male who grow beards, and that shouldn't be seen as something. Like in my trans body positivity video, Snow made a great comment where they said, like, I don't see why any of those things, make me a man, because they're not inherently gendered. So I would say just remind yourself, because like all of these characteristics about yourself, like my gender neutral video from like freaking years ago. What's gender neutral? Hint, everything. Like, none of these things are gendered. You are you, and you're beautiful, no matter, like, all of these things that people say are gendered, they are only gendered if you say that they are. So like, there was this one post that I saw recently that was talking about name changes for trans people, and it said, like, get rid of the idea that trans people have to change their name in order to be trans. Like, if your friend Ryan is a girl, then, or I think Ryan was the name that they used, or John was the name they used, and they said if your friend John is a girl, then she's a girl, like John is a girl's name. So like, none of these things are inherently gendered. They are only gendered if it makes you feel better about yourself and feel more comfortable. Also, I saw Chris had to go. Chris, did you leave already? Bye, Chris. I adore you. It says that you're still watching. So here, bye. Good luck on your editing your videos. I actually have to go soon too. I'll be on for another couple minutes, but I have to go because I have to go to that appointment. I'm Canadian, so I had to wait to see if you saw, because it'd be rude to leave before. That's so funny. Yes, I saw, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope that editing your video goes well. And it's not rude to leave anymore. You can leave when you need to. You're allowed to leave whenever. I love the way you think about LGBT plus issues, much more relatable than most people, even in the community. You know, everything's not just black or white. Yes. I think that's one thing that I really like to promote, is the fact that like what I was saying earlier with like the name change thing is that I know for some people, they're really used to calling me my birth name because they've known me my whole life as that name. And then the same like flip side is like also like I'm used to them calling me that because I've been called that, for years. And I think it's important to like, in order to, what's the way that I want to say this? Like, in order to remind myself that who I am is valid, I also look at the perspectives of other people and why they're doing the things that they do. Or for example, also another thing that really helps me with my dysphoria in terms of like medical things, because like I said, when it comes to like going to the minute clinic or something, I don't tell the people that I'm non-binary because I don't think that it's necessary, because I'm like, I'm just here for a checkup, I'm just here for a moment, and then I'll leave. Another thing that I always try to remind myself is also like on official forms and stuff where it says like, for medical practices, like if I go to the doctor's office and I have to do this or I have to do that, blah, 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 and how everything says that I'm female, I just tell my dysphoria so that I don't feel like they're misgendering me. I just remind myself that my body responds to a lot of things similarly to the way a lot of female people respond to things. Now, my body has a lot of things in common with a lot of people who are female. That's why it says female. Not because I'm a female, but because my body responds physiologically and biologically to a lot of the same things the same way as many female people do. And it definitely helps. So if you want to try just like reassuring yourself that, like, they're not saying, well, I try to tell myself, like, it's not saying that I'm a female, it's saying that my body responds similarly in ways that a lot of female bodies respond. And it helps. It helps me feel, like, better, reminding myself that, like, I just have similarities with some women. So, how do you go about name changing legally? It is different for every state. The state that I'm currently in, it was super easy once I turned 18. Xander actually got his name changed before he turned 18, and so it was a lot more difficult for him. My sister is in a different state, and it was super hard for her. So I would just say look up the how it's going to be for, oh, you live in England. I don't know then. I would just say look up local government sites and see if you can find something, because they typically do have a lot of information about name change stuff, because typically when people get married, they change their last name, and that's the process that they have to go through, is like marriage license stuff. So there's usually name change sections, and then you can find how to change your name from there. I googled name change laws in place. Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you so much for the bars. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be on for another 2 minutes, and then I have to go. I'm going to leave at 3:20 my time. So it's 18 right now. And yes, I see someone talking about how much it costs, and talking about the different costs and stuff. It will cost differently where you are. It will definitely cost differently. Just read along at the comments, because there are some people that are making comments about, like, what it's like in the UK to have your name changed. So just make sure that you're looking at those things to see. Because it's kind of what a lot of people do, is get a lot of information from other people who have done it, you know? Because that's one of the ways that we get resources, is how did other people do this? And I can do it too, because now I have the resources, because I've seen other people, like, had to do this. And so that's how I know that's what I have to do, like, to get your name changed. You're meeting me at Summer in the City. Awesome! I will see you there. And I will be rocking all of the gay stuff. I have my Crystal Queer shirt on right now and this, and I will hopefully have so much queer stuff. So much. I'm going to be all decked out. It's going to look great. Hope your appointment goes well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I saw someone else said rip, but have fun at your appointment. Thanks. How many of you are going to Summer in the City? Before I leave, how many of you are going to Summer in the City? Raise the hands. Oh, thank you. You say I'm an amazing broadcaster and awesome YouTuber. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. You and your friend are going? Nice, nice. How much does Summer in the City cost? I actually don't know. So this is my first year going. And I think that there are different types of tickets, and then there's like the meet and greet raffle thing. So I think that different things cost different. Yeah, and then depending on how many days. But if you go to their Twitter account, which is, I'm pretty sure if you just search Summer in the City, it'll pop up. And they have all the links and stuff to their website so that you can get all that information. But with that being said, I do have to go, because it is past 3:20 and I have to be somewhere very soon. So thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate it. It's been nice to talk to you. And get to know some of you. And thank you so much for 40K on Instagram, because that's a large number. That's wild. And I do really appreciate it. I do. And thank you for coming and listening to me just chat and be myself for an hour and 20 minutes. So thank you so much for being here and watching. And thank you for being adorable and sweet and supportive and nice. And hopefully I'll be able to do this again soon, because it was nice to be able to talk with you all like in real time. And so thank you. And I will see you all again soon. All right. Bye.